So tomorrow, YieldMax Group B will be announcing their distributions. But until then, let's take a look at NVDY and PLTY, since I have both of those. Hello my friends, this is Legend. So today we're going to talk a little bit about NVDY and PLTY just to see where it's at on the charts, what the distributions have been in the past, and see if we are possibly going up or down on the price of these before we get our distribution announcement tomorrow. So let's just go ahead and slide right over to the Webull chart and let's check these out. All right, so we're looking at NVDY currently right here on the Webull chart. And as you can see today, if I zoom in, we did have a red candle day, but it was up. And like I've said before, it's red candle because the opening was higher than the close of the day, right? It's up because the close of yesterday to the close of today went up. Therefore, we have a green number up here. And as you can see, we actually went up 2.72%, which equates to about 47 cents. For today, it opened at $17.81, went as low as $17.65, as high as $17.85 before closing at $17.77. So it had a nice little pop, even though it did pull back just slightly. So let's go ahead and let's throw in some lines in here just to kind of see where some possible supports are and to see if they line up with roughly the same areas as we will show on NVDY. So first of all, let's draw in a line right here. As you can see, it looks like it got up to about right here and then got pushed back down. So let's just draw a line right here and we'll call it our support line. Okay, so I drew a line in here and we're going to put it at the top of this green candle right here. And the top of that green candle would be the closing price of $16.93. So let's just go ahead and make that at 16.93 and hit done. So there we go. We've got that line drawn in. And let's just zoom back a little bit more. And we can see that we had another possible resistance line over here. Let's just go ahead and draw this line in as well. So let's put it right here at the top of this green candle right here. And that top of that candle would be that closing price of $17.69. So we'll just enter in 17.69 for that one. Okay, so now we've got those two lines, and let's see where we're at when we look at the current candle. And as you can see, it looks like we were in this area here, but then we broke out, right? Looks like we did come out above it, and we possibly could see where it bounced off right here, and we'll just throw a line right here as well at the open of this green candle being 1804. I'll type in 1804 right here. All right, now we'll look at our candles over here, and now we have somewhat of a possible support and resistance. It's pretty tight though, but again, we're just kind of graphing this out on NVDY, but we'll really see a better idea of the movements when we look at NVIDIA, which is the underlying of NVDY. So we might be seeing a little bit of a resistance right there at that 1804. And our last distribution that we had was about 67 cents. Now let's flip it over to the adjusted chart and let's just see about the Bollinger Band just to see if it is outside of that Bollinger Band. It's obviously probably right there toward the top, but I'm just wondering, is it pushing it on out to the outside of that Bollinger Band? So we'll flip this over to adjusted, and then we'll turn off the moving average and turn on the Bollinger Band, and there you go. So yeah, we are sitting at the top of that Bollinger Band. So for me, it's not a buy, but look at this. I mean, this thing has just stayed at the top of this Bollinger Band, and it just keeps on pushing it on up, right? So this one here has had a pretty nice little run up since April. So not too bad for NVDY staying on the top side of that Bollinger Band. But let's just graph out NVIDIA and let's actually see where those resistance and support lines could be. All right, so here we are on NVIDIA, and this one here, of course, we are pretty high here, right? We are actually hitting our 52-week highs. We hit 172.4 for the day. Now, it did pull back a little bit today from the open, but it's definitely up from yesterday. Now, as far as in drawing in some support lines, let's see what we can figure out here. Our support lines are going to be pretty far down on the line here, though. But if we look right here, you can see we hit here and we hit over here, right? Quite a few times. So I could draw a little line, say right here in this area. As you can see, it went up, got rejected, went up, got rejected, went up, passed it, but got rejected again. Then went up, touched it, got rejected, right? So it's hit this line quite a few times until over here where, again, pretty interesting, right? To where it did go up, didn't quite make it before the next day. It actually started pretty much right there on that line and then used it as a trampoline to keep on moving on up. So since we are on the highs, we really don't have a resistance, right? As we don't have anything in the past to draw a line from for this one. And if you wanted to draw in a line that's a little bit more current, I guess, and a little closer, it's not as probably as strong as this one down here, but you could say that there is one about right there, right? Where we went up, touched it, and got rejected. Went up, broke it, but came back down and closed under it. And then we went up and we're on top of it, and then we bounced off of it, right? So a closer support would be about 158.37. And if it did break down below that, then we could be looking at a support of 149.18. But as far as a resistance, well, it's just the high, right? I mean, 172.40, that is the current resistance line, right? As we are in uncharted territory. So it'd be good if we can continue on up, but if we do pull back, it could get down to close to about that 160 mark, and then hopefully use that support line to bounce off of, right? So it's something to keep an eye on. And as you can see, NVIDIA actually moved up 4%, which equates to about $6.63. So very nice move on NVIDIA. So let's take a look at PLTY. And here we are on PLTY. And we had a line here already drawn in. And it was this one here for more of a support line, right? To where it came down, it was bouncing off of it, and then it bounced off, right? And currently, we are seeing a bit of a red day, right? Not much, 0.25%, so not much. But we're still sitting at about 68.40 for the day. So pretty nice for PLTY. The last distribution was $3.26. And of course, the one before it being about $7, right? So this past one was about half that. So I'm hoping that this next one will be somewhere in between the two, right? Maybe about $5 or something like that. That would be pretty nice. But let's see where PLTR currently sits. And on PLTR, we had this resistance line right here. And we did ride through that resistance line. I'll zoom in a little bit. And we are at the top of that Bollinger Band on PLTR, but did pull back just a little bit for the day. Now we cannot consider that a confirmation candle because it's not a green candle on the top side, right? For the confirmation candle, this would need to be a green candle that lives above our resistance line here. Now tomorrow, if we get a green candle and it does not touch that line, then we can consider that a confirmed breakout, right? But as you can see, we are somewhat here lately staying within this channel, right? Just kind of trading up and down within this channel. Now, we did try to break out, and we'll see. Can we actually stay outside this channel here and start moving back up? But that resistance line is at 145.11 is where I've got mine drawn in at. So we'll see if tomorrow allows it to stay up above it. But as you can see here, it's had a very nice upward move, right? So I'm hoping that we get a very nice distribution as well. And I guess we will find out tomorrow morning. So as far as NVDY and PLTY go, neither one is at a buy point for me because I'm looking for it to be at the bottom of that Bollinger Band. And I'm looking for that RSI 2 to go down below that 10 or be close to it, right? Because I would much rather buy a little bit on the low side versus buying at a high. I would much rather be patient and wait to see if I can get a better buy point. Now, I may not because as you can see here, Palantir itself staying above that midpoint, right, of that Bollinger Band. It has just been moving up and up and up. But you can't win them all and you can't grab them all. But I would much rather be patient and try to get a better buy price than to buy on a high and then it drop, right? Because you never know when it's going to go down. It may never go down for, another few months. Who knows? But looking back on PLTY right here, looking at the actual chart, it is somewhat just staying within this range, right? So what you could possibly do is after Wednesday, come Thursday morning, you might be able to buy PLTY at a better price because that would be the X date, and the X date, that distribution will come out of the price. Just like you can see right here is a good example, right? Let me zoom in on this. Right here we can see that D, that's our distribution right there. Now this one was for May, but I'm just using it as an example. So it's a $7 distribution. The price itself looks like it closed at $67.80, but the next day on X date, it opened at $61.01. So by buying it on the X date, you can buy it cheaper than you could the day before. Now, buying it on the X date, of course, does mean you will not earn that distribution for this period. You will earn a distribution on the next one, but not this one. You have to own those shares before the X date to get that distribution. But I do like to keep my average down, and anytime I can bring that average down, I'm going to try to do so. So I'd much rather buy my shares at a little bit lower price instead of buying it at the high up here, right? But that's me, and that's just how I'm playing these YieldMax plays. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind hitting that subscribe button, smash the like button, it'd be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.